just done a test in the spec like it's always been, and yeah, did a 5.4 backed up with a 5.5. I can't be bothered trying to beat it now. That's probably enough. The best time previously on this setup before I changed the valve springs was it 5.8 or 5.9? I'll have to check the previous video. Either way, we're talking half a second faster, which is significant, which proves, well, basically it was a valve spring issue. It wasn't just how the engine was. So yeah, that the dyno figure wasn't, you know, and the dyno graph wasn't really representative, because, well, we changed the valve springs, it's half a second quicker with no changes. Literally out here in the dark trying to change my cam timing. This battery is running really low, so apologies if you don't see this full sequence.
The next day.
Can you spot what's wrong with this picture? Don't think it takes a genius to guess this one, do you? All I can say is I'm really glad these engines are non-interference. Otherwise, this engine would be fucked. I adjusted the cam timing, and I did them up tight as fuck. Like, not ridiculously tight, because I was scared that the Chinese metal would, you know, the threads wouldn't, you know, would round. But I did it, you know, tight enough. I've done plenty of these in the past before, albeit not Chinese ones, but still. And yeah, was fine. Did a couple of runs, was quicker, and then it was slower and noisy, and it's like, oh fuck, what's up? And it would just about cruise at 70, so I cruised it all the way home, and just when I got onto the drive, it had so little power it stalled, like going up the little hump onto the drive. So I literally had to, you know, it sounded, and I tried to start it, it sounded like I had no compression at all. So I had to literally bump it up the drive on the starter motor. And then I kind of knew what was wrong straight away, before I'd even, you know, got out the car. And lo and behold, it's this. The question is now, because Allen key bolts are easy to get hold of, so that's fine. Question is now, are the threads fucked, or do I just need to put some more Allen key bolts in and some decent thread lock? I've got a spare pulley, but I'd rather not use another pulley, you know, for nothing. So let me see how knackered this is. Luckily I've got a spare pulley, which I'll probably use this on the MX-5, but for now I've just stole the bolts out of it for the other one. Luckily it seems like the threads are fine, they all screwed in normally.
6 hours later.
That's the cam timing adjusted to 5 degrees retarded. It does noticeably make more top end power, but also noticeably, as you might imagine, fucks up low down power. It makes it laggier and yeah, just not as good low down. Trouble is, because this car's got such long gearing, it's almost a trade-off. Is this extra top end power worth it? Because now it's a lot shitter low down. If I had shorter gears, it'd be absolutely fine. But as it is, it's a bit debatable, but I've not done enough testing yet, because the exhaust decided to explode apart on a full throttle gear change. So I got to fix that first. That's what happened to the exhaust clamp. It's all bent. I went to my mate's motor factors around the corner, and it's he hasn't got one that size, so I'm gonna have to hammer this back to a usable shape.
Shape.
Isn't it?
Shape.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, knackered, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, that's the car making a funny noise on the jack. Right then.
The red car?
Yeah, the red car did it, yeah.
This car?
Yeah.
When it was at like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it not fixed yet?
No, well once I've done that, I'll be able to fix it. Put your belly away.
Would you try it after when you like fixed it?
Yeah, when we fixed it, we'll see if it works. Yeah. And
If it don't work, then it's knackered.
Yeah, pretty much. You watch. Stand back. I'll show you. This is that's to lift it up, and then I do this, and it go down. There you go. Back on the floor.
That's magic.
Yeah, it is. Should we see if it works now? Ah. It's not that noisy, is it? Yeah, it's fixed it. You happy now?
Yeah. Have we fixed that? Yeah, we have.
Yeah, it's fixed.
We can't.
When it weren't fixed, you didn't hear it, but it was really, 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 really noisy. Now it's just a bit noisy.
Yeah. Let's try in my seat.
Oh, you want me to get your seat to see if it fits? Okay. Bloody hell. Well, there you have it. A Elsa and Anna frozen Disney frozen car seat fits mint in motor drive buckets. Absolutely fucking rock solid.
Yeah.
So that means you want to go out in the car then?
Yeah.
You sure?
I saw.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I like them fast.
You do, but you've never been as fast as this car goes. But you're knowing what you're like on fairgrounds and stuff, you'll like it. Considering you're only 3, you're pretty mental.
What is it called?
What's this car called? Volvo. Volvo, yeah.
I've never been in this before.
No, never.
I never.
It's funny, yeah. Well, I knew you'd like stuff like that.
Later that same evening.
Wow, that's not as fast. That footage was me testing it with the cam timing retarded by about 4 or 5 degrees, which according to people I spoke to is about optimal on these V cams. And yeah, it's got much more up top, like the performance up top is noticeably better, but the performance lower down, because unfortunately this car's got long gears, well, not very appropriate gears. It's got a longer diff ratio than standard and stuff like that, but because of the gearing and you know the general spec of it, the power band actually makes it slower, because, well, to do the 60 to 100 anyway, because 60 miles an hour in third is only just in the power band. You know, second would be almost fucking out of it, but third is only just in the power band, so I'm kind of losing a bit at the very beginning. And I mean look, 6.4. I think the previous one was 5.8. I did like 4 runs and they were all slower. And yeah, 5.8 to 5.4 or whatever the best one was at standard cam timing is literally a fucking blink of an eye. I mean, you know, 0.4 of a second. But it's slower, so whatever, that's, you know, I found that out.
Tomorrow for sure.
So I started it was fine, started fine, drove fine, got to the petrol station about a mile away, chucked 40 quid of V-Power in it, won't start. Literally will not start. It's got fuel, well, it's got fuel pump, fuel pressure. Whether it's got the injectors firing again or not, whether the ignition's working or not, I don't know. But something stopped fucking working again, and I'm basically stuck at this bastard petrol station. Fair play though, some young girl with I think she had a Lupo. I sort of recognise her from somewhere, I can't think where. She had like that dyed, what do you want to call it, platinum, grey, what the fuck, I don't know, hair. Maybe she's into cars. She had a snap-on jacket on. I don't think she was a mechanic, but I'm guessing she was into cars, wearing a snap-on jacket. She came over to sort of see what was the matter, but obviously there's nothing she'd be able to do anyway. So fair play to her for actually, you know, coming. Don't know who she was, but if you're watching this, hello. Yeah, green Lupo? Glasses I think she had on, I can't remember now already. I'm so fucking so fucked up with this car, I won't even take much notice. Anyway, yeah, let's see.
One eternity later.
Well, after about an hour of fucking about, I got it home. And I can only half explain why. Basically, it felt and sounded like it had no spark. Because I could smell fuel, it's rich, like it was not sparking. You could smell it, so I thought, oh fuck me, I've ended up flooding it as well now. So, yeah, I thought I was flooded. And I had fuel pressure, so it wasn't, you know, wasn't that. But then it gets fucking weirder. Then it seemed to be trying to spark. Like it was, you know, wasn't starting, but you know, anyone who's used to engines can tell when there's at least some combustion going on when trying to start. So I thought, hang on, what the fuck? But it still wouldn't start. So I thought, you know what? Even though it says it's got fuel pressure, I don't know. I don't trust it. So I got this is the fuel pump wire. It goes from fuse box. So I undid that. Got this fucking remote control, radio control car battery, which I've been using to power the race logic box, and basically stab them into there. And even though it was showing fuel pressure before anyway, I did this and I turned it over and it took a while to start, but it fucking started. So in the end, drove one-handed, with one hand holding these bare fucking wires to the pins that go to the fuel pump, and the other trying to drive home. And I made it somehow. Good job I was not even a mile from home, I don't think. Maybe a mile and a half tops, I don't know. But it was a lot less grief than waiting for the AA and some dickhead with his flashing lights thinking he's a mechanic telling me all kinds of bullshit about what he thinks is wrong and his fucking life story on cars that he's just made up like they always bloody do. You know what I might do is see if I've got enough wire to fucking hardwire fuel thing just to a switch, and if I can just hardwire it, then it might work for a bit. Fucking, I just need it to work for a week just so I can rinse the shit out of it and absolutely ruin it.
24 hours later.
Right, after last night's disaster, I have fixed it, but it's fixed in the weirdest way possible. You know, I explained last night how I got it home by using the radio controlled car battery to power the fuel pump. It turned out that it did fix it, but for a reason I didn't expect, so let me show you. That is the switch, and that's fuel pressure, and watch if I turn off the switch, you know, it's idling fine. Off. See, I thought, well, considering that radio controlled car battery made me able to get home, there must be a problem with the power to the fuel pump. So I did some really beefy wires and a proper switch, and it's direct off the battery now. No. But that was not strictly the problem, it turns out, in the weirdest way possible. Do you remember yesterday I said it seemed like an ignition problem, because it wasn't even trying to fire, it wasn't even trying to kick over, and I could say I had fuel pressure, I could smell fuel, so I thought it's got to be an ignition problem. But then firing it up from that RC battery made it start, which totally went against anything else, because that shouts fuel problem. But it got me home, so I thought, yeah, definitely a fuel problem. So I started it from cold. Let's turn this light off, it's a bit bright. I started it from cold and it was fine. Started straight away, lovely, but it did that yesterday as well before it broke down. Let's see if it'll start now from, you know, as it is. So let's turn the fuel pump on. 2.8 bar. See if it'll start. Tried to once. Now no. Basically exactly what happened at the petrol station. So what the fuck? Turns out it is a fuel problem, but not the one I expected, because watch this. Fuel pump off. Crank it over. You know what I did then? Fuel pump off, crank it for a couple of seconds, or a second, then flick the fuel pump on, and it starts fine every fucking time. It must be that the map has far too much cranking fuel. I mean, once it's actually started, the fueling's fine. It's not rich, it's like, once it's warm, that'd be at like mid-14s. But cranking fuel must be way, way too much. So much so it won't even try and fire, it just sounds like it's no ignition. But, so if you have the fuel pump turned off for a second, crank it to get it going, then flick it on, because obviously it takes a second to build up in pressure, it's not maximum fueling straight away, it makes it fucking start. So it's perfect. So I do wonder now, I really do wonder if this car's now going to be perfectly fucking reliable. I don't know. I can't imagine it, because it's the most cursed car in the world. But is this going to be the end to all its fucking starting problems? That is the old chip. No idea what it means or anything. It's just one that came in the car. Could be good, could be terrible. 7,000 RPM limiter it says 984 EZK 7K RPM. Carefully plonk it in place. Push it in. Done.
Thousands of tears later.
This new chip is, I don't know, there must be something funny with it. Maybe it was set wrong. I mean, like Martin who done the chip is like the top blokes, but something ain't right, because basically it's got a rev limit of about 5,250, which is not enough, not even close. This car's only just coming into his own at that RPM, unless you listen to that fucking bullshit dyno, that is. Quick update to this is, while the rev limit is now way too low, which I can only presume is he didn't quite press the up arrow enough on his laptop when he programmed this chip. The actual performance before that is wildly better than the old chip. You know, like before I said, because of this new cam timing, the power band's not really even doing anything at 60 mile an hour in third. With this new chip, it's probably better than it ever was. Way more boost lower down now. So it's obviously got more ignition timing than the old setup. I will show you in a second. Pretty much full boost by 60 miles an hour, which it was not doing on the old chip. Very promising. Yeah, I'm very impressed with that. I was almost ready to be like, fuck it, the old one's good enough. But not now. Now I've realised this, I want to get him to do me one with some changes. Because the performance seems fucking mint. Unfortunately, it seems to have a limiter of about 5 grand. So yeah, a little bit annoying. Okay, very annoying. I'll mail Martin when I get back and see if he can do me another one quickly.